All right, thanks everybody for joining. We're just going to give people one more minute to go ahead and join the live event. But while we set up, feel free to post any questions you have in the Q&A throughout our event. If we can't get to them all, we will post all of the answers on our Point Drive, where we post all of our recordings and supplementary information. All right, Darby, you ready to go?
Yep, let's get started.
Sounds good. Well, thank you everybody so much for joining this month. I know there was a little bit confusion with the links, but I'm glad everyone found their way over to the live event. Same as last month, we will be switching all of our events in the future to live events too. So you should have received a new email with all of those new links in there. As you see, these are links rather than Teams meetings. So just continue to do what you're doing. And all of the rest will look like this as well. So for today, we're going to be covering Teams meetings, tips, and best practices. These are just some things that typically don't get that much attention in general Teams 101 training, so we just wanted to dive in a little bit deeper into those. As a reminder, all of these sessions are recorded. Live events are stored in the URL link that you clicked on to get here. So if you want to send this out to other end users within your organization after the event, feel free to as well. With that, let's get to our introductions, and then we'll be able to start it off with our demo. Darby, would you like to go first?
Awesome. Thanks, Bridget. Hi, everyone. My name is Darby O'Brien. I am a customer success manager for state and local governments. I am based out of Reston, Virginia, but I work with government agencies all across the U.S.
And my name is Bridget Ballard. I'm also a customer success manager based out of the Pacific Northwest, and my home office is in Bellevue. So this is what we'd like to cover today. We will be sharing this agenda out afterwards, but for the sake of time, we'd love to just go ahead and jump right into the demo. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to go ahead and share out my demo Teams tenant. So just give me 1 second. All right, Darby, are you able to see my screen? It looks like looks like it's queued up correctly.
Yep, I can see your calendar.
Sounds great. All right, so we've covered this before, but I'd like to go over it again. You'll see we're inside of the calendar portion within the web application of Microsoft Teams. So to schedule a meeting within here, we'll go to New Meeting. And then let's just do test. Now, location is if you wanted to meet in a conference room. The meeting details look similar as it does in Outlook. What I'd like to point out that's a little bit different than Outlook as well is select a channel to meet in. So I have the option to either invite somebody specific or invite a channel. We'll go over what that looks like a little bit later, but you'll see I have the option to pick the team and then drill down into the channel down here. So I want to invite Joanna. You'll see that Joanna is currently free right now. You can see it under her name. And then you'll be able to see over here as well the times that we are both available. So I'm going to go ahead and pick 11:30 to 12 p.m. and schedule this meeting. Great. So now that it's scheduled, you'll see all of the meeting details down here. The Join Microsoft Teams link, the conference ID, and the toll-free number that you can dial into. Now, something that a lot of people miss is actually this meeting options right down here. So when I click on this, any user can set this. So you'll see I have two options, who can bypass the lobby and who can present. So let's say you're meeting with an external vendor and you want them to wait in the lobby until everyone from your organization has gotten into the meeting. So you can say, who can bypass the lobby? Currently, I have mine set at people in my organization. You can click everyone, or you can click people in my organization and trusted organizations. Same thing with presenting. Let's say that you don't necessarily want external vendors to be able to present. You can do people in my organization, or if you do want them all to be able to present, you can click everyone. So again, this is something that a lot of people do miss when they go in and schedule their meetings. So when there's specific questions about lobby functionality, I do refer people back to this meeting options place to be able to set that on a meeting by meeting basis. So once you click save, you'll see the little done button, and then you can go back here and all of those options have been saved for this test all things Teams and Gov meeting. All right. Darby, do you see any questions in the chat thus far?
None so far.
Great. So I'm going to go ahead and join this meeting. I'm just going to click on this purple join button here. And this is what we call the preview panel. So right here, we have our devices bar. I get a lot of questions about sound, and typically what we refer people to is this device settings. A lot of the times what will happen is if you have multiple devices connected, you might have accidentally clicked one and not the other. So a best practice is to go in here and click the specific device where you want your speaker output from and where you want your microphone access coming from. So you'll see when I click on here, I have the option of choosing my Bluetooth speaker set, or I can pick the speakers that are just on my normal device. I also have the ability to switch my camera. So I'm currently using a Surface device, so I have a front camera and a back camera. For the purpose of this meeting, if we're just having a normal a meeting with our team, we obviously want to do our front camera so everyone can see our face, but you do have the option of turning the camera around. So what we've seen is a few use cases where people are actually using Microsoft Teams for building inspections and for home inspections. So this would be a use case where you might want to turn your camera around and specifically show people things in your room. So I'm going to close out of that. And then a best practice for joining, you'll see on here you automatically have the option to either turn your video on or turn your microphone on. It is a best practice, even if you are going to be one of the main speakers, to go ahead and join muted. This is so that when you join, there's no feedback coming through. And then once you're in and you want to start talking, you can simply unmute yourself then. Another thing to point out too is the camera icon. If you know, sometimes people forget that their camera is on. So just be aware that if you turn this camera on, you are live for the entire time. So just be cognizant if that's something that you want to turn on or not. So with that, I'm going to join the meeting. Okay, so now that I'm inside the meeting, you'll see Joanna is also here with me. And there's a few things I'd like to point out just in this control panel here at the bottom. As you can see, again, we have our camera and our mute button. But something I want to call out is this participants panel. So let's say that we wanted to add someone to our meeting that maybe we forgot, or maybe they're running late into something and we just want to call them indirectly. So I can either type a name, so you see I have Deborah, or I can type in somebody's phone number that will actually call their phone. I also have the option to type in a name of a Teams meeting room. So if you have a Teams meeting room device, let's say it's called Conference Room 2, I can actually type in the name of that conference room. So Conference Room 2, and it'll call the Teams meeting device into this. And so anybody in that conference room could then join this meeting as well. Quick call out too is the mute panel here on the side. Since I'm in the web app, you won't see it, but on the desktop app, there's a button at the top that says mute all. A best practice that we generally tell people is when you're joining a Teams meeting, have somebody that's going to be a moderator, that's going to be making sure that people are on mute when they should be, and they're in the chat reading specific comments so that the person presenting doesn't also have to go in here and mute people when they're being loud. So you'll see Joanna is currently on mute right now, but let's say she was off mute. I can hover over her name, go to the ellipses, click on it, and you'll see mute participant. So I can specifically mute Joanna if I hear her rustling or I'm getting some feedback from her, I can mute her directly. Now do be careful, whoever is moderating, or if it's you personally, make sure to not mute the person that's speaking. So just be cognizant with the muting capabilities as well. And lastly, from this panel, I'd like to show this copy join info. So if someone's messaging you and they're saying, I'm not able to get into the meeting, I can't find the Teams bridge, you can click on this paperclip icon in here. Let me zoom in so you can see it a little bit bigger. You can click on this paperclip icon, copy join info, and you can go over here into the chat, simply copy paste it. And there you see it. The join Teams meeting info is there in the meeting chat. You can also go into your chat over on the left-hand side and message that to someone outside of the meeting as well. Couple more things I'd like to show before we jump out into Darby's portion. Darby will go over recording later, but as you can see, the recording tab is right here in the 3 ellipses as well. You also have the option to go and show meeting details, which is what I had just copied, but you can go in there and see it for yourself. Last thing I want to mention, the 3 ellipses over here on the bottom left-hand side. Let me zoom in. There's something called pin. So I can pin Joanna to the screen. Kind of hard to tell now because it's just Darby and I in this meeting, but let's say there's 40+ people in this meeting and Joanna is going to be the one presenting through all of it. Well, you know, a lot of times it would be confusing if there's 4 faces on the screen and Joanna is the only one that's going to be speaking the whole time. You can pin Joanna's face to the screen so that only Joanna shows up. Now, currently within government, you can pin up to 4 people, so you can choose in every meeting who specifically you want to pin onto the screen. But this is completely optional. If you don't use pinning, the last 4 people to speak will be the ones that you see on your screen. And for those of you that use Teams frequently, you know that when somebody's talking, their face glows that purple color. And then, you know, when they're not talking, they will be on mute and you won't see that purple glow around them. Another thing to mention too, sorry, Darby, I'll give you 1 second. I forgot to mention is this share screen. So let me scroll in a little bit closer. You have multiple options with screen sharing. Now you'll see I have my desktop window. I can share a PowerPoint, or I can actually browse and show a specific file within my Teams event. So if I share my desktop, do be cognizant that you are sharing your entire screen. So people will be able to see any notifications coming in or anything that you might have pulled up in the background. This is really helpful when you want to request control of somebody's screen. So again, that's not over here in the web app, but either in GCC, either in the bottom panel here or in the top panel, you'll see request control. So if I took a request to control of somebody's screen, I could actually do exactly as it says, and I'd be able to go over to Darby's screen and begin clicking on things in her Teams. If she was having an issue, I could help her fix things on her desktop. And so that would be a use case of why you wanted to share your desktop. Now you can also just share a specific PowerPoint, or again, you can browse for a file. When you're sharing just your PowerPoint and just your document, that's the only thing being shared, and people can't see other things on your screen. For instance, right now, I'm just sharing my just my Edge browser, so you're not able to see any of the other applications that I have open. Darby, do we have any questions in the chat to answer before we jump over to your part?
We do have a couple questions, but if you could just describe the experience for having simultaneous meetings or kind of that breakout room workaround.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks for the reminder. So a common question that we've been getting recently is, what does it look like if you want to join a meeting at the same time? So, and frequently people have been calling these breakout rooms. So what you can do is you can schedule a main meeting and you can have 2 meetings at the same time. When you join the main meeting, you can join that breakout room number 1, and what will happen is the main meeting will go on hold. So let's go ahead and join breakout 1. Right, so now I can join this. And you'll see that my all things is on hold over here. When I'm done with this breakout, I can simply hang up. And it puts me right back into the other meeting. And it says you are on hold. So what I'll want to do is click rejoin. Oop, I'm having some mouse issues. There we go. Does that answer the question, Darby?
Yep, that's great.
I think I put myself on hold again.
All right. Are you ready to kind of walk into the chat and meeting notes portion, Bridget?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So the next thing we wanted to cover was just that. We want to talk about meeting chat and as well as meeting notes. And we'll start with meeting chat, and that is probably something that you are pretty familiar with, but we just want to point out a few things here. So you'll notice when you open meeting chat by clicking that chat icon in your little navigation bar in your meeting, you are going to see that exact same feature ribbon underneath that type new message box. And it's identical to the one that you see in regular chat as well as the one that you see in your Teams tab. So with that, you can type messages to those in the meeting, and a great functionality to utilize here is those @mentions. So that's a great way to, let someone know they're on deck for presenting, or let them know maybe you can't hear them very well, or ask them if they could please send the document that they're talking about right now in the call. So in return, you also have that paperclip icon underneath that type new message, and you can attach files mid-meeting. So if there was a document you were speaking to or a PowerPoint you were speaking to, you can actually send that to the group right from here. So from there, we will move into meeting notes, and then I want to talk about where these live after that meeting has ended. So I'll have Bridget open up meeting notes here, and meeting notes is hidden in that ellipses bar there. And when you open it, this is a great place to, take meeting minutes as well as just take high-level notes of what happened in the meeting. You can send these out as a follow-up afterward, keep everyone in the loop for maybe those who couldn't attend the meeting to kind of see what was covered, what final decisions were made. And some best practices here are to assign 1 or 2 people the job of taking these meeting notes. And that is because, yes, everyone can click in and see these meeting notes, but they aren't as, they don't have the co-author ability. So once someone is typing, you can't type over them. It does lock their notes. And while you can start a new notes section, it might get a little bit repetitive there. So just a best practice there would have 1 or 2 people taking those meeting notes and keeping track of what's going on, just to keep the chaos to a minimum. So now let's talk about where these chats go once this call has ended. And they're going to show up in one of 2 places. So as Bridget mentioned, when she created this call, you have 2 options when you're scheduling a call. You can invite individual users to that call, which is what we did today, or you can invite a whole channel to a call. When you invite individual users to a call, the same way we did for this call, all meeting notes and meeting chat is going to be saved in the chat portion of your Teams app. So you'll see, based on that little calendar icon next to the name of our chat, that this is a meeting chat. And in there, you can see all the chat that we had. You can see that link that Bridget dropped. And you can also check out the meeting notes in this section. So you can see it at the tab at the top of the screen, as well as a direct link to it in the chat, as well as all and any files shared. And another great thing about this is once that meeting is over, that does not mean that you cannot chat in that meeting. So say a week goes by and you realize you can't open the file that Johanna sent. Well, you can still send in the chat there and let her know, hey, I tried opening that file, I can't get it open. It's still a live chat. Everyone can still communicate about what was discussed in the meeting and any other details that they need to chat about. Now, if you had created a meeting in a channel, it will look just a little bit different. So what it's going to do is it's going to post the recording, the meeting chat, and the meeting notes to this channel instance that you created. So when you schedule a meeting for a channel, it will show up directly in the channel that you scheduled it in, much like what we're seeing right now. So you can see that little blue icon at the top that's showing that a meeting has been scheduled, and it's letting everyone in the team know there's a meeting Friday at 10 a.m. So all of the chat going on during that meeting will be saved as a reply to this meeting instance, as well as the notes. And if this were a reoccurring meeting, it will be the exact same meeting link, and you'll be able to tell by the dates as well as the meeting began and meeting ended timestamps what is a new meeting, what conversation is from a new meeting, etc. Is there anything you'd like to add to that, Bridget?
Nope, I think you captured it. We have a few questions in the chat that we can absolutely stay and answer after, and I will try and post a reply as well, but Darby, feel free to carry on into the recording feature.
Awesome. So with that, I am going to switch and share my desktop. It's just a little bit easier for me to be able to click around. So just bear with me here while I switch. And Bridget, just let me know when you can see my screen.
You are good.
All right, so now I am in my own demo tenant. I'm in that call that Bridget set up earlier in this meeting. And what I want to walk through is meeting recordings. And while we have covered this a little bit in some of our past calls, and if you weren't able to see those, we posted the link to the Point Drive to watch all of our past recordings in this meeting chat. But I want to show you a little bit more of the functionality around those meeting recordings, as well as some things you can do to really bring that to life. So as you may already know, to record a meeting, you're going to find that functionality in this More Actions ellipses here, and you're going to hit the record button. So once you hit record, a few things are going to happen here. You are going to see this icon in the bottom left, letting you know this meeting is recording, as well as this blue banner across the top of the screen that goes out to every participant in the meeting to let everyone know they are being recorded. So you can also see in the chat here that a meeting recording has started. It just notifies you in every way that it can that the meeting is now being recorded. So when you have finished a call and you go to stop a recording, it lives in the exact same spot as start, but now it says stop, so I will stop this recording here. And now it's going to tell me that the recording is being saved and that the actual video will be saved to Microsoft Stream. Another place that it's going to show up for you is in the meeting chat. So the meeting will the video to this meeting will actually be posted in this chat and will be automatically accessible to everyone that was in the meeting. And then because I am the host of that video, it's going to be emailed to me. So that's 3 places that you'll be able to access the video, but the true video recording lives in Microsoft Stream. And I want to show you a little bit into Microsoft Stream just to familiarize you with some of the functionality there. Because if you did record this meeting, or say you were the only person in this meeting and you were recording it for training purposes, you do need to update those permissions so everyone in your organization can watch that video. Or if you wanted others outside of the meeting you were in to be able to view that video. So with that, I'm going to exit out of this meeting here and let's go into Microsoft Stream. So this is Microsoft Stream. And to find your past videos, you're going to go into My Content. And it's going to be under Videos here. I'm going to click into my personal Microsoft Stream here. Here we go. All right. So I'm going to click into My Content and Videos to find those. So here you're going to find all the recordings that you've ever done of any meetings. I also want to note you can upload videos to Microsoft Stream, and it will add a live transcription as well as closed captions to those videos. So if you do need to get those onto videos so you can post them to your company site, this is a great platform to use for that. But for the sake of today's presentation, I'm going to click into a demo that we did actually for this call a little while back. And let's look at what we see in here. I'll pause this so we don't get double audio. All right, so what you're going to see is here are these closed captions as well as a live transcript of the entire call with timestamps right next to it. And you can actually search this transcript and find every time something is said and exactly what time and click to those different parts of the meeting. So that's incredibly valuable if you missed a really long meeting and you need to search keywords, a key project that you're working on to see where it was mentioned, you can search this transcription here. As the meeting organizer, let's talk about a few things that will be interesting to you. So you have this share button here in the bottom left. When you click into that, it's just going to give you a direct link to the video, which is great for sharing it out. And you can also choose the time you'd like it to be started at. Another big one is a very well hidden feature here. It is in this ellipses. So when you click into that, this is a really important one for the video owner. So you can download this video to share it out. Only the owner of the video has the ability to download videos. Not just anybody can open up one of these stream videos and download it. You can delete or replace the video, trim the video, and update video details. And this is a big one. So I'm going to click into this one. And here is where you can give this video a name, a description, and select a language. As well as this is where you assign permissions to this video. So this is a big one. If you recorded a video and you send out and someone lets you know that they don't have access to the video, it's because these permissions have not been set. So you can allow everyone in your company to view this video. Maybe it's a training, maybe it is a corporate-wide video, or you can assign specific teams, channels, or people to be able to have access to this video. So that's a really important one that I wanted to point out exactly where that lived. And then again, here you have the share button to copy that video link. And I'm going to click back into my demo here because something I want to show you is how to bring these videos to life. So instead of just uploading them and letting them live in stream, you can actually integrate them right back into your teams. So let's click into teams here. We created a few teams for the sake of this demo today. But for example, here is a team solely based on training. And this is a use case that you can use in a lot of different ways. Here we have an orientation one, but say you want to use teams to deliver training and have users walk through a training path. In past demos, we have discussed the purpose of tabs, and that is to put really important files right at the top of your screen here. So in this one, we have designated a training path where users can start and walk through the training details that they have. You can upload videos directly to these tabs at the top, so they're really easy for all users to find. Here we have a training video that's been uploaded, and it looks exactly the way it looks in Stream, and you can view it right inside of Teams. so no one has to go searching for it inside a stream. And I will show you how to upload those. So what you can do is click this plus tab here, select your stream option, and now it's going to prompt you for that URL that we were looking at just a moment ago. So I will go to videos, grab a link here, grab this one. And then you paste that link right into this URL. It will recognize what video that is, recognize it is a video, and you can save it right to a tab at the top of the screen. And now it is viewable by all your users in that team. So that's a great way to bring those stream videos right back into the Teams platform. Is there anything you wanted to add, Bridget?
I do see a question about the transcription services in Stream. So in the interest of time, because I know, Darby, you have to get over to another presentation, we can post some supplemental documents specifically around transcription and Stream in our point drive after this. But I do not have anything else to add from the recording aspect.
Awesome. All right. I believe that is all we had today. Like I said, Bridget and I will work on answering all your questions and getting those posted in the point drive, as well as this recording will be available in that point drive as well. You can also access this recording immediately after this live event by clicking the exact same link that you used to join this call. And I believe our call next month is going to be a really awesome demo about public safety and justice. Is that correct, Bridget?
Yes.
Awesome. So really looking forward to that one. Definitely send this out to anyone that you think that could be valuable for.
Yes, thank you all. And feel free to send this URL to any end users within your organization that might need some reminders about best tips and tricks within meetings as well. So thank you all, and we'll see you next month.